Well, look who you see when you don't have a gun. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today, I know it's been a long time. It's been probably 2.5, maybe 3 years since I did anything on this channel. And it's not because I wasn't trying. Some of the stuff that I had recorded to get through the winter time just didn't turn out, so I'll have to redo some of that. The other thing is the weather up here in Alaska has been the worst for as long as I can remember. I don't think we had 8 days of nice summer weather last summer, and the year before that we didn't have any. But now, as you can see, it is April 10th, and it's still a little on the chilly side. It's like 42 or 45, something like that. But at least the sun is out and shining. So, what I want to do today is talk about taking care of your wood handles on your axes, on your knives, whatever. Because if you're like me, you didn't do anything with them last year. And they're starting to dry out. We got to fix that real quick. So today, on An Old Man in the Woods, we're going to take care of your wood. Stick with us. So there are two things that I'm going to do here. And I'm going to wear gloves for this, especially for the axes, the handles on the axes. On my knives, tell you what, let me adjust the camera here and get in closer on what I'm doing. I'm going to start with my knives, only because for the wood handles on my knives, especially my Opinel and my little BNS, I use vegetable oil. This is just any kind of vegetable oil you got laying around the house. You can use olive oil, you can use coconut oil. This, I think, is just like Crisco or Wesson oil or something like that. I don't know. It's been in here a long time. You can tell by the dried out globs on it here. But all you need to do on this stuff is, first of all, if you can, close the blade. Because you don't want to cut yourself. Am I on camera? Yeah, I am. Okay. So then all I do is I just take a few drops, maybe a little bit more than that, and then I just rub her down. So it's nice and shiny. Just rub it in. And if you get a little on the blade, it doesn't matter, it's going to protect that blade too. And then, don't forget the ends. And then I just set that aside and I go on to this one. Now some of you have seen this knife before, and yes, it's getting a little rusty. I ran it through the dishwasher last night. Probably not a good idea, but I did it anyway. I use it so much it was getting pretty damn dirty. But the oil on there is going to help the blade too. It'll help stop the rusting. And again, just rub her down and set it aside. And then on my Helle, I like this knife, I really do. One of these days I'll do a video on this little thing. Birch handles. It's beauty knife, and I'll tell you why I got it. Now you can tell just because I've only used that one little bit of oil. A little bit goes a long way. Okay, and I got 3 knives done. I don't have to worry about it anymore, at least for the rest of this season. I try and do this in the spring, and then I do it again in the fall, because when you put this stuff away, whether you're leave it in the woodshed or keep it in the house, whatever you do with it, it'll dry out, especially if it's in the house where you get some heat. They will dry out better. And I should have brought my neat's foot oil, I forgot to. But it should touch up my leather things. Now, this is just a little bit of boiled linseed oil, and I'll give you a picture of it here in the big can here in a little bit. But I didn't want to bring the whole damn can out, so I just brought a little bit. Now, I'm using the same glove. It doesn't matter. You can put on a new glove. It doesn't make any bit of difference at all. But a couple of things I'm going to do once I get done with the handles, I want to do the scabbard too, the sheath, whatever you call it. So, put this on my little husky. Whoop. We got a bunch there. But that's okay. Now this stuff, if you're doing cooking stuff at the same time you're doing this, do the cooking stuff first. Because this stuff, you don't want to ingest this. This is more or less a poison. And it will mess you up. And again, don't forget the ends. And a little bit on the blade doesn't hurt anything. But you always want to go away from the blade. Don't come back on it. Because you might come back and find your fingers are still sitting there. Now, am I good enough to do? Yeah, almost. This is just a little leather thing I threw together one day just to protect the handle. My grandfather used to use electric tape. Electricians, you know, that black shiny tape. He used to just use that. And this linseed oil isn't going to hurt anything on here. It's not something, like I say, not something you want to put in your tummy. And again, going away. And the end. And another one bites the dust. I'm going to try and steal a little bit off of this thing. I want to put a little bit on my scabbards. Usually I'd use neat's foot oil on this, but you see how quick it's soaking into the leather? I should have done this a long time ago. But I'll blame it on COVID. Everything else gets blamed on COVID. Might as well blame that on COVID too, right? And don't get me started on that stuff. One more of these. This one isn't so bad. But this one's been in the house. The other one's a little hatchet's been in the Jeep forever. So, having done that now, you're good to go for another season. And taking care of your wood. Now, you know, as long as I got these hatchets and axes out, there's a lot of different schools of thought as to why people put cord in the ends of the hatchets and axes and stuff. It's not so much for hanging as it is for, well, again, let me move the camera. Okay, if you ask some of the old-time lumberjacks, the guys who used to cut trees with chainsaws or axes or whatever, nowadays they got this machine that goes in, grabs a tree by the stump, cuts it off, and out the door you go. But in the old days, my days, they used to use an axe. Now this is just a little camp axe, but you get the point. Usually I used to use a double bit, 36-inch handle. Then you got chainsaw and moved on, just progressed up the ladder. But anyway, my point is, the reason people would put a line in the back of the axe, yes, you can hang it on a tree, but that's not why you put it on there. You used it as a plumb bob. And by that I mean we figured out how, let me turn this around. You figured out by using this as a plumb bob which way the tree was leaning naturally, so that when you cut it, you could either cut it in that direction so it would continue falling, or you make your adjustments and cut it so that it would even come back the other way and fall back and forth. Let me show you what I mean here. I'm going to use this tree in the back here. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this on camera or not, but if you take the axe and hang it, and yes, this is a curved handle, but it doesn't make any difference. Use it as a plumb bob anyway, and we'll see which way this tree is leaning. I'm going to try and do this so I can see it on camera, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Okay. Basically, even get it up higher. Basically, you can see a bigger gap up high than there is down on the bottom. Okay, bigger gap up here than there is on the bottom. And what that means is the tree is leaning ever so slightly this way. So now you had to decide, depending on where you wanted that tree to land, where you're going to cut it, where you're going to do your chopping. In this case, because there's nothing else around, I would chop it on that side. Yeah, on this side, the far side, the side that it's leaning on anyway. Cut it and get it down and make your firewood or whatever you're going to do with it. You know, in this case, these are alders, and this is what everybody uses up here to slow cook and smoke your salmon. But anyway, just a little tip that I haven't seen anybody talk about on YouTube, so I just figured I'd throw in my 2 cents. There you have it. I want to thank everybody for sticking with me during this world catastrophe, whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to get into the politics of it, but that's all it was as far as I'm concerned. So I never had it. Don't plan on getting it, but you never know. It's just a strain of the flu is all. Enough said. But I do want to thank you for sticking around, and we even picked up some new subscribers during this downtime. Some changes in my life. During the COVID thing, I had to pick up a full-time job, which kicked my butt. When I got home, I was tired. And most of the time I'd get home and fall asleep and get up, get dinner, and go to bed. Get up in the morning and start it all over again. So that's one of the reasons I haven't been on either. But I have since stepped down from the management position. I'm back to part-time, which is what I only wanted anyway. And it's looking like we're finally going to have a tourist season this year, so I'll be busy with that. But even at that, I work in the evening on there, so I should have some time like I used to come out and do things. So hopefully we'll be getting more of these videos out to you. If you have any ideas of what you want to see me do or talk about or anything, leave them in the comments down below. I do check them. I've been checking them all the way through. And I guess that's it for now. But again, thank you for sticking with me, and look forward to seeing you again on the next video as soon as I can. So, my name is Brian. I am an old man in the woods. Thanks for sticking with me. Stay safe out there. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.